I'll never forget the morning I opened my warehouse door and froze. 6 cars, SUVs, sedans, even a convertible sat neatly lined up inside my private garage. Their engines were still warm. Coffee cups rested on dashboards. For a second, I thought I'd stepped into the wrong building, until I saw the pink HOA parking permits on every windshield. They'd done it again, no worse this time. They'd broken in. And right in the center was a silver Lexus with a vanity plate that read, K. Violet. That's when I knew the queen of the HOA, Karen Violet herself, had officially lost her mind. Before all this, life was simple, quiet, predictable. I ran a small logistics company out of that warehouse on the edge of town. My land sat just outside the new development called Willow Creek Estates, my own property bought fair and square a decade ago. That garage was the heart of my business. Trucks loaded and unloaded there every morning. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine, every square foot of it earned through years of work and too many sleepless nights. Then came the HOA. They built their shiny new community center next door, a little brick building with tinted windows, 12 parking spots, and an overblown sense of self-importance. The problem: they hosted everything there, yoga, wine nights, brunches, and apparently 12 parking spaces weren't enough for 20-something members with oversized SUVs. At first I didn't think much of it. 1 or 2 cars would park on my lot. I'd leave polite notes. Private property. Please don't park here. But the numbers kept growing. Monday mornings became a nightmare. My trucks had nowhere to go. Jake, my lead driver, grumbled, "Want me to start towing them, boss?" "Not yet," I said. "Maybe they don't realize." So I emailed the HOA president, a woman named Karen Violet. Her signature looked like it belonged on a government seal, bold font floral logo, and the motto, "Preserving the Beauty and Order of Willow Creek." I wrote politely, explained the problem, and asked her to remind her members to stop parking on private property. 5 hours later she replied, "Eric, the alleyway behind your building is community access. Our members are permitted to use it as needed. K. Violet." Community access. My alleyway. I checked my title deed and property map. Every inch of that driveway, every slab of that garage mine. But maybe she misunderstood. I sent her proof. No response. The next evening I came back to find cars blocking my loading dock and a neon pink note taped to my sign. Community members are allowed temporary access. Please be neighborly. KV. Neighborly. That word burned. So I printed 6 new metal signs in bright red. Private property. Unauthorized vehicles will be towed. For a week it worked. Then came the storm. Friday night thunder rolled through the sky, rain hammering the roof. As I locked up, headlights swept across my lot. A line of SUVs pulled in 5, maybe 6. I thought they'd rush to the HOA building for cover, but no. They ran toward me. "Eric," someone shouted over the wind. A woman in a yellow raincoat. "Karen, we just need to park in here until it passes." "In here," I yelled. "This is my garage." "It's for safety," she barked. Then before I could stop them, she waved to a man who tried the keypad on my door. When that failed, they grabbed the handle and forced it open. One by one, the cars rolled inside. I stood there soaked and speechless. 6 HOA cars were now parked inside my building. "Should we stop them?" Tyler asked, half whispering. "No," I said. "Let them finish." Because in that moment, staring at their arrogance, I decided something: I wasn't going to fight with words anymore. I was going to end this the right way. The next morning, the cars were still there, lined up like showroom models. Karen arrived at 8 a.m. sharp in her white blazer and oversized sunglasses, pretending she was royalty. "Good morning," she chirped. "Sorry about the mix-up. The storm was terrible." "You broke into my property," I said flatly. "Oh, come on, Eric. Don't be dramatic," she laughed. "You weren't using it." Mark, her vice president, smirked. "No harm done, man." I pointed at the bent garage door. "You forced this open." Karen shrugged. "Technically, it wasn't locked. You should be clearer next time." That was it. The woman was delusional. That afternoon, I got another email. "The HOA board has determined that your garage shares access rights with our community center. Until resolved, members may continue to park there temporarily. KV." I forwarded everything to my lawyer, Rachel Green. She called me back laughing. You've got yourself a classic HOA Karen. Document everything." Days later, they held their next meeting in my garage. A folding table snacks banners that read, "Willow Creek HOA, Community First." When I confronted her, she smirked. "You should be grateful we're using your space for something positive. You'll regret that attitude, Eric. We don't like outsiders." "Outsider," I snapped. "I've been here longer than your HOA has existed." That night I stared at my ceiling, furious and exhausted. Part of me wanted to give up, just let them have it. I wondered if I was overreacting, if maybe I really was the bad neighbor. But then I thought of every late night, every loan payment, every morning coffee I'd drunk in that garage before work, and the fact that these people had waltzed in like they owned it. No, I wasn't wrong. I was done being polite. When I showed up at their next monthly board meeting, I didn't wait to be invited. I walked straight in. "Evening, everyone," I said. Heads turned. Karen froze mid-sentence. "This is a private meeting, Mr. Miller," she said. "Yeah, well, half your members' cars are parked in my garage, so I figured that makes me a stakeholder." A few people laughed. Karen didn't. She tried to twist it, painting me as aggressive and unneighborly, but I wasn't having it. I dropped a county map on the table. "This line, that's my land. Everything beyond it, yours. Stay on your side. You can't tow community members," she said sweetly. "Watch me." 2 days later, she escalated. They put up laminated signs on my fence. "Overflow parking, Willow Creek HOA events only." That's when I called Ben, my old locksmith. "How fast can you upgrade a garage?" He chuckled, expecting burglars. "Worse," I said. "An HOA." By Saturday, Ben and I had installed heavy-duty steel locks, new hinges, and a digital keypad. My garage looked like Fort Knox. A week passed quietly. Too quietly. Then Friday evening, Jake called. "Boss, you better come down here." When I arrived, I could hear the music before I even saw it, laughter, clinking glasses. My headlights swept across the garage and I almost laughed in disbelief. They were throwing a party. In my building, 6 cars inside folding tables covered in wine bottles and cheese trays. Karen stood by her Lexus glass of Merlot in hand, laughing like she'd just conquered the world. "Eric," she said, turning toward me, "you made it. We're just having a small get-together." "In my garage," I said. "It's temporary. Don't ruin the fun." Behind her, Mark smirked. "It's Friday night. You're not using it right." I felt my pulse throb. Then suddenly, I smiled. "You're right," I said calmly. "Enjoy your evening." They looked confused as I got in my truck and drove away. The next morning, I called Ben again. "Remember those locks we installed?" "Yeah, come back. We're sealing everything." By 10 a.m., every door, every latch, every exit was secured. The main door was reinforced, the side ones welded shut. When we finished, I taped a note to the front. "Garage closed for maintenance. Do not enter." Then I went to the airport. Florida, 1 week off. By the time I landed, my phone was blowing up. 20 missed calls, a dozen voicemails. "Eric, this is Karen Violet. There seems to be a small misunderstanding. Eric, you're committing a crime. You can't hold our property hostage." I sat on the beach sipping a piña colada and laughed so hard people stared. Rachel emailed, "You're fine. They trespassed. Enjoy the vacation." And I did. Police called once. "Mr. Miller, did you lock vehicles inside your property?" "Yes, sir." "Were they authorized to be there?" "Nope." "Are there warning signs posted?" "6 of them." He sighed. "Sounds like a civil issue. You're good." "Perfect." By midweek, Jake texted updates. "Karen's losing it. HOA members are turning on her. Tow company refused. City said it's your land." I couldn't have written better karma myself. When I got back home, I went straight to the warehouse. I unlocked the side door and peeked in. There they were, Karen and her little court, sweaty, red-faced, arguing among themselves. "Eric," she yelled, "do you have any idea what you've done?" "Oh, I do," I said. "You broke into my property." Again. "You'll be sued for this." "Already ahead of you," I smiled. "I've filed for damages." Her face drained of color. The others turned on her instantly. "This is your fault, Karen." I opened the main door. "Get out." They left one by one, silent and humiliated. Karen stopped by her Lexus and hissed, "This isn't over." "You're right," I said. "It's just getting started." She sued me 2 weeks later. In court, she stood tall in her pink blazer, trying to sound powerful. "Your Honor, The defendant maliciously confined property belonging to our members for an entire week. Rachel stood calmly. Correction, they broke into a locked commercial building. My client owns the property. Here's the proof. The judge skimmed the photos. SUVs lined up under my lights, banners, wine bottles. Mrs. Violet, these vehicles are clearly inside his garage. It's a shared access zone, Karen stammered. Rachel handed over the county map. The building predates their HOA by 10 years. The judge frowned. Do you have any evidence of shared rights? Karen hesitated. Not at this time. Rachel pressed on. My client repeatedly warned them via email months before this incident. She read aloud one message. Please stop parking on my property. It is not community access. Karen jumped up. He was harassing us. Sit down, Mrs. Violet, the judge ordered. Then came the final blow. Rachel played the security footage, Karen and her friends drinking wine, laughing inside my garage. The courtroom erupted in laughter. The judge leaned back. Mrs. Violet, you're lucky he didn't press criminal charges. Case dismissed in favor of the defendant. The HOA will reimburse damages and legal fees. The gavel came down like thunder. Karen just stood there shaking. I walked past her on the way out. You humiliated me, she hissed. No, Karen, I said. You did that yourself. Weeks later, Willow Creek HOA dissolved entirely. The fund was drained, paying my compensation. Their sign came down, their Facebook page vanished, and Karen Violet, well, rumor had it she sold her house and left the state. I never saw her again, but sometimes I'd catch a glimpse of her Lexus driving by, slower than usual, windows tinted darker. Maybe to hide the shame. A new metal sign hangs on my garage now. HOA Free Zone. Trespassers will be locked in again. And every time I see it glint in the sun, I can't help but smile. Because in the end, justice didn't need anger or revenge. Just one good lock and a little patience. Lesson. Sometimes the strongest way to stand your ground is simply to close the door and let karma do the rest.